The best way to start your day. This is Med in the Morning.
It's Med in the Morning here live 107.3. Lee with you, counting down the days and getting set for TNA Wrestling's biggest event of the summer. Slammiversary goes down Sunday, July 20th at the UBS Arena in Long Island. And if you cannot be there, don't worry. You can watch live on TNA Plus and on pay-per-view. And it is a stacked card, my friends. Already we know the TNA World title on the line as reigning champion. NXT's Trick Williams defends against both Mike Santana and Scotland's own Joe Hendry. One woman will walk out with two belts as both the TNA Knockouts title and the NXT Women's Champion go head-to-head. Masha Slamovich facing whoever is the NXT Women's Champion come July 20th. Lots of stories about that one. Head on over to TNAWrestling.com for all the latest. And of course, the UK's Leon Slater looks to make history and become the youngest ever X Division champion as he takes on Moose. It really is a loaded card and one man that will be in attendance on the night of that, I am sure. TNA President Carlos Silva, who I'm delighted to say joins me for his first Scottish media interview. Carlos, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you, Lee.
It's great to have you here. I've been chomping at the bit to try and get some time with you since you came into post. Realistically, 7 months ago, December, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah, it started just really end of December, the holidays. Really kind of got the ball rolling as we started the new year in January.
So how has it been? I mean, how did this move come about, Carlos, and how do you think your first 7 months have gone?
It came about. I mean, I knew the Anthem. Anthem Sports and Entertainment is the parent company that I run. Anthem Sports that is part of the TNA is part of our family. We've got a couple of other properties in Invicta Fighting and the Fight Network. When I ran World Series of Fighting back in the day, going back to sort of 2017, 2018, Fight Network in Canada was our distributor. So I knew the company well. I knew what they were doing. I've been in and around the fight combat space. Certainly understood the Endeavor family with TKO, becoming TKO around the UFC and WWE. I got a call from a friend of mine that I've worked with for years and said they were looking for a new president to run Anthem Sports. I really like the portfolio. Lee, I haven't been a wrestling guy my whole career, but being in and around sports and entertainment my whole career, I did know and feel, especially with what was going on with Endeavor and TKO, with AEW over the last, little over 6 years, almost 7 years now, that there was this groundswell around wrestling. And I think the media attention, the distribution, I mean, the fandom's always been there, but it feels like not just the core fans, there's now this groundswell around even more casual fans, and the pie getting bigger and bigger. I thought it was a great opportunity. I jumped in. I was able to bring a few of colleagues that have been part of my live and sports and entertainment families and companies over the years. And it's been a great 7 months. I think every 30 days we have moved the ball forward in small steps. As you know, when you have a team, Lee, you can't just do one thing and think everything's just going to change. And so we've been working, really every 30 days to find the next thing to do, whether it's adding talent, finding new talent, whether it's bringing new men into the organization, bringing new women into the organization on the wrestling side, increasing our digital footprint, our social, and really amplifying it, working not just in the States, but in Canada. We signed a new distribution deal with Sportsnet. In Mexico, we signed a new deal with Claro, as well as South America. We've got a new deal in India with WBD. And we've been working very hard around a new deal that's going to also come about in the United States here over the next few months. And I think that, along with what we do in the UK, what we do even over in Asia, and there's been a lot of discussion in Australia as well, it really starts to give us more of a global footprint for TNA. And so it's a pretty exciting time, and I think it's all been building towards Slammiversary. We sort of would talk about it in January and February and March that this was going to be big, and then the groundswell kept building, and now we're here, and I think it's going to be our biggest show ever in, you know, the greatest city in the world, in New York City, and in a great brand new arena, which is going to be really nice.
Have you actually been stopped by the way you mentioned the phrase groundswell there? I mean, TNA is always had this buzz, especially since the announcement, the rebrand just over 18 months ago now. TNA, many people would say it was the little promotion that could. It's always been there. It's kept going. It's plugging away. Even when it had the lowest of lows, we knew it would rise again to have the highest of highs. And that's where we are just now, Carlos. And as you say, those 30, 60, 90 days that keep going on, how does it feel to sit in the Anthem offices and actually see those reports? We know ratings continue to grow on Access TV. We know digital engagement, as you say, going through the roof. And I believe TNA Plus subscriptions at an all-time high as well. So it has to really make you think that this plan that yourself and the team you put in place has got everything going right just now.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's trending in that, you know, sort of up and
Mm.
out direction. And but like everything, Lee, and we've talked about it here as we've been doing some press around the world over the last couple of days. You can't take it for granted, and you don't sort of get, as I like to say, you don't get a free glide. You know, if you stop, you stop, and so we have to jog and run every single day to keep pushing it forward. Look, I mean, a big part of that too is our relationship with WWE and NXT. They've been a great partner. As you know, I'm sure overseas has been on fire, just like it has been over here in the U.S. over Joe Hendry and him running into Royal Rumble, and then him being a really awesome surprise guest on WrestleMania, and the entire stadium in Las Vegas, you know, singing the Joe Hendry song and waving their arms from side to side. So look, that's really how it all began, and I think we've really capitalized together with our partner here around moving wrestlers up and down, sideways. We've even been working more with AAA down in Mexico, as well as they're now part of the WWE family. And look, I mean, the three-way that we're going to have between Trick Williams, WWE, NXT, TNA World Champion, and Joe Hendry and Mike Santana at Slammiversary is going to be a great finish to the evening, a great main event.
It's going to be a phenomenal night. As I say, if you can't be there in person, TNA Plus, the place to go to make sure you see that and everything else live. Just head to watch.tnawrestling.com for all the details. But you mentioned obviously that relationship that you have going with WWE and NXT just now, which is fantastic. But lots of people have been with TNA, as I say, for over a longer period of time. How important is it, Carlos, do you think, to maintain that loyal base that came to TNA for those homegrown talents, for those stars? Obviously, over the last few years, we've seen the phenomenal success of people like Jordan Grace, of Joe Hendry. Jordan, obviously, recently moving on to NXT, moving on to WWE. How important is it that we can continue to grow our own stars and lock them into long-term contracts like Joe, like Moose, and some of those other guys like the Hardys who have had a career resurgence because of TNA? How important is it that TNA can hold on to those athletes?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot in there, Lee, that you were touching on, and it was really great because it's not easy to run a business, let alone a sports entertainment business, for 23 years. TNA has been around for 23 years. People have told me, like any business, there's up and downs throughout those years, and it isn't always up and easy. But the good news is TNA has been around. It is a foundational part of the major leagues of pro wrestling. And the nice thing I feel about the authentic feeling that TNA has is that we can grow new stars like Jordan that you mentioned that have now gone and are now part of the WWE NXT family. Joe Hendry, who's now knocking on the door, you know, running into WrestleMania. Leon Slater, that, you know, who is going to be trying to become the youngest X Division champion ever with Moose. But then also we are a great home for amazing veterans that have so much, whether it's Frankie Kazarian, Nick Nemeth, the Hardys, the list goes on and on. And look, when the first note or second note of the Hardys song plays as they enter the ramp, I mean, the arena goes crazy. The meet and greets for all of these, all of the talent that we're talking about is unbelievable. And so I feel like TNA's got this unique place. And even with Leon now, we were talking with Matt the other day on his show, and he really takes a lot of pride that he's kind of coaching up Leon now too. And I think that's the kind of experience that on a team you can't get that experience anywhere else. And I think it's a unique locker room that we bring to everyone on both the men and women's side to be able to grow and really cultivate and create great champions.
Great champions, great talent. And as you say, it's that unique mixture in the locker room that we have that really allows so many touch points for fans of all ages, whether it's people like that have grown up with WCW and TNA and myself, as we said before, being a fan of TNA for the full 23 years. But I was out a fortnight ago, Friday night, out at the theatre, Carlos. Very cultured. You might not believe, but I'm a very cultured man. So jeans, boots, TNA t-shirt and my suit jacket on as I went to the theatre. Coming out of the theatre, stopped in the bar to have a drink, and I kid you not, must have been 20 people over a 2-hour period afterwards coming up to me, having the chat about TNA wrestling, about Joe Hendry, about the Hardys, about Leon Slater, people of all ages and all generations. And I think what TNA have managed to do in the past 18 months is really catch that lapsed fan, the fan that had grown tired of AEW, of WWE, of the same cookie cutter wrestling, if you would, week after week. And TNA have been able to provide exciting, different programming that people are actually engaged and enthused about, which is absolutely fantastic for a wrestling fan to be able to just go up to a random stranger and have these sort of conversations. We've noticed you have been in arenas quite prominently since you came into office, if you would. How have you found the TNA fans? Have they been coming up and speaking to you and offering suggestions? How is that relationship? How's that dynamic?
As I've said, again, Lee, having been in sports entertainment my whole career, I mean, 25 plus years now, I don't think I've seen a fandom like the fans of TNA and pro wrestling in maybe any other arena. I mean, maybe, when you're inside the Olympic movement and everyone's exchanging pins and being in the middle of it, maybe that's another level, along with pro wrestling, but there's not much like it. The fans are amazing. I had a great time. We went down to Mexico a couple of weeks ago for Triple Mania at AAA, and we were walking around the stadium, and a lot of the Mexican fans were stopping us and taking pictures. It was super fun. We did some stuff in New York City the other day down on the subway. Just the same. I happened to be on vacation in Italy about a month ago, and I had this hat on actually, and I was getting off a plane flying from Germany to Italy, and somebody grabbed me and said, how do you have a TNA hat on? Like, I love TNA. It's my favorite program. And they're like, I said, I work there. And they asked me, well, what do you do? And I said, I'm the president. And they were like, oh my God, that's really great. And we took a picture. And so, look, the fans are everywhere. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of pro wrestling. They stand outside, they wait in lines, they stay afterwards to get autographs and do meet and greets. And it brings a smile to my face at how much fun and how we can bring them so much joy with the talent that we've got, because when an arena's going crazy and everyone's cheering and everyone is oohing and ahhing, there's nothing better in live entertainment than that.
There's not. We are talking with Carlos Silva, president of TNA Wrestling. Do not go anywhere.
The standard has changed now. I call the shots.
I need you for my redemption. When you mention the world title, you mention my damn name. Hendrick Williams, Santana, the main event.
The future of TNA Wrestling hangs in the balance.
TNA Wrestling presents Slammiversary, Sunday, July 20th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
It's Med in the Morning here on Live 107.3. Lee, very, very excited. You know me, I'm a big wrestling fan. I do not get flabbergasted. I do not get flummoxed. But sweaty palms, listeners. That's how nervous I was coming into this morning's interview with the man that I have been itching to speak to. It is the president of Anthem Sports, the president of TNA, Carlos Silva, who should still be with me on the Zoom. Carlos, you still there, my friend?
I am, Lee. Still here, ready to roll.
That's what I like, my friend. But before we took that break, Carlos, you mentioned obviously you were on holiday and you were getting noticed because of your TNA hat, which was really, really cool. I need to talk about the European side of TNA wrestling, because historically, many people would say the UK, Germany, probably TNA's biggest markets outside of the USA, probably even at their peak, perhaps even exceeding that US. When do you think, not that I'm putting you on the spot here, but I am, when do you think we will get to see TNA wrestling back over here in Europe, either for a premium live event or maybe for a TV loop? Is that on the horizon? Because I do believe sources on the internet wrestling community last year were saying we were very close, perhaps in the UK, to getting a Bound for Glory.
We actually had we had penciled in a Germany and a UK stop this year. As it turns out, we kind of hunkered down a little bit and decided that we needed to sort of polish things up, get the train running in the right direction, and do that first around what we can do with our team in the States. We have gone to Canada earlier this year. We're going out to Edmonton later this year, which will be exciting. And so I do think we're now on the edge of literally every day now starting to talk about 2026. And both the UK and Germany are on our short list for 2026. So we're in the middle of looking through that schedule. We'll start with Q1 and Q2. But it's absolutely on our list, and we'd love to make it happen.
We cannot wait. You will get a reception like no other anywhere in the world, Carlos. We can guarantee you that. And speaking of the UK, you mentioned TV rights deals earlier. We know there's big discussions going on in the States about a expanded broadcast distribution. Here in the UK, we are exclusively on TNA Plus. Again, for so many years during its peak years, TNA was available on linear television, free-to-air television. Has there been any discussions or thought about expanding the UK distribution model?
Absolutely. We do. We talk distribution, Lee, every week. It's the most important thing for me, not just in the States, but around the world. I would say probably the two focus markets that we're focusing on right now are the US and the UK. And so we've got a team, we've got a US team that we work with. We work with CAA here in the US. We work with a group called King's Highway that concentrates on our rest of world distribution outside the US. And those are really the two markets that we're targeting first. And I think we're starting to get some traction and hopefully other than just TNA Plus, which has been going quite well, and the app works great, and we've gotten a lot of good reception from our consumers. But we also would like to have some sort of TV, and I put TV in quotes because TV now is TV streaming app. Depending on the company and the platform that you're with. But we're concentrating very hard. I hope as we get through the summer and into the early fall, we'll be able to move something forward and make some announcements.
That would be fantastic. And obviously one of the things that TNA has been able to do this year is several live events, including sneak peeks of tapings on TNA Plus. Live TV and touring is expensive. Do you think for TNA to grow, they need to continually tour 52 weeks, and do they need to be live?
I think the short answer is yes to both. I think it's a hybrid. On the touring side, I think it's a hybrid. I think you do probably end up in places more often, or some modified residency, if you will. And that would be predicated on going live 40, 50, 52 weeks a year. And that's really what I want. That's what the team wants. We've got a great live production team. We've all been in live sports our whole careers. We all love live. I never want to tape a show. I never want to go into an edit bay. I want to go live. I think the talent, the wrestlers love live. I think they feed off the energy knowing that they've got a moment, just a moment, and they've got to perform. And I think it raises everyone's level quite a bit. And so we're striving for that. That's all part of our distribution and our plan for 2026. As you mentioned, we've dabbled in it quite a bit more this year, and we'll continue to do that. And we came up with this concept of this live look-in for our TNA Plus subscribers, and we've also put it on YouTube. We're starting to put some sneak peeks on YouTube as well, as we experiment with what our fans want, to give more fans access to what we're doing live.
It's a great concept. It really truly is. I know time is almost against us, Carlos. Just a couple of things that I do want to ask. One of the things that you have brought in, and we've seen it prominently over the past 2 or 3 loops, is the TNA All-Star Award, which I think is really, really nice. An award that management presents on a loop-by-loop basis. Who actually came up with this idea, and how is it decided?
Yeah, actually, I'll take credit for that one. That was my idea. That really came out of me being a big sports guy, and even seeing on social. I love these social posts when you see like the coach in a college football locker room, or a coach in a pro football locker room at the end of the game, a playoff game or a big game. They'll do the game ball, and they'll give the game ball to the player that performed. And I just love the camaraderie and the feeling of it. I've, gotten a few awards in my life, and we all have, and we remember them. And so we kind of grabbed the team, and we sort of brainstormed around that as a core, and came up with the TNA All-Star. We've now given away 4 of those All-Star awards, 3 of them to wrestlers, and 1 of them to a very important staff member that helps all the wrestlers live during the matches. And so, Casey Navarro and Santino and Zach Wentz and Ingrid are our first 4 All-Stars, and we're going to keep doing them every single loop. And it's really just to say thanks, and to also have everyone celebrate together a moment for someone that maybe just went just a hair above everybody else, because everyone's doing a phenomenal job. But it's a nice locker room feeling that we've created. I really love it. It's my favorite thing from every weekend.
I was going to say, it's really nice to watch. Also, we see some of that footage on weekly on Impact, and it is really, really nice to show that almost human side to management. You know what I mean? So it's great. And as you say, you mentioned Ingrid there, who was just absolutely amazing human being, and fantastic to see that she got that recognition there. Okay. Final thing, Carlos. This is, I don't know, you might have heard about this. You might have been prepped. We're going to go in for it. Every time I get the opportunity to speak to a TNA wrestling official or superstar, there's one thing I like to do, and that's play a round of the name game. I have the names in front of me of 5 TNA performers. I would like you to say the first thing that jumps into your head. Are you up for this?
Sure.
All right. Name number 1, Santino Marella.
Funny.
Name number 2, Tessa Blanchard.
Badass.
Name number 3, Leon Slater.
Super athlete.
Name number 4, Joe Hendry.
Cool cat.
And name number 5, Mr. Smooth himself, the voice of TNA Wrestling, Tom Hannifan.
The golden voice.
I like that. He's going to like that. He is going to like that. You can keep up to date with everything TNA by watching TNA Impact every week on TNA Plus. Head on over to TNAWrestling.com to sign out and find out how you can also see Slammiversary live on July 20th. We'll keep you up to date with everything heading up to it right here on Med in the Morning. And I would like to say, President of TNA Wrestling, Carlos Silva, thank you so much for taking the time, my friend.
Thanks so much. Good to talk to you, Lee.
Thank you.
The standard has changed now. I call the shots.
I need you for my redemption. When you mention the world title, you mention my damn name. Hendrick, Williams, Santana, the main event.
The future of TNA Wrestling hangs in the balance.
TNA Wrestling presents Slammiversary, Sunday, July 20th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.